Ben didn't shave.
For like a week.
I didn't shave today. Ben didn't shave for a week, but we're still going live because that's what we do. Man, I thought I was in a bad mood, but I got to pump it up for you guys out there in the world. The now 50 subscribers that we have with Hafeman Brothers. 55
Yes.
0. Ben, did you ever think we get to 50 subscribers doing this nonsense?
Well, last week you said we had 49 and I created a fake account. So yeah, I did think we would get there.
I knew somebody had to. Somebody took pity on us. We're like, I got to create a robo account, some fake account. And you put Chris Sims' name on it and you subscribe. That's awesome. Thanks for that. No, you didn't do that?
Chris Sims?
Is that a legit? Maybe Chris Sims did subscribe. You know who else might have subscribed is Aaron Nagler, because I've been talking about him so much. He's picking up on things. Although I haven't said anything good, because most of it's not good. He's clearly not one of my favorite people. And I'm not all excited about the way he approaches this business. But he's been doing it longer than me, and he's got a hell of a lot more subscribers and viewers. But you can change that. This is my pitch. Watch this. You can change that out there. You know why? Because here's the deal. Like, we're at 50 subscribers. That feels nice, but we'd like to be more. And you can do it. You can subscribe to our show. You can subscribe to this crazy, goofy program, Brews Bros. We try to bring you some more other type of stuff. We're drinking beer tonight. What's wrong with that? You can hang out with us and drink beer. We got some guests on tonight. Like I said, we're going to try to keep it interesting. And we have put the financial commitment into improving our program. We paid for a Zoom subscription, people. Paid for it. We're doing free Zoom before, but look at all these people. Look at this. Look at this. Is this exciting or what? That's a gallery. That's a gallery of folks. You're going to hear from all of them tonight. We're also going to bring you a new game tonight. I'm excited about that. But I got to say this real quick before we get into too much else, which is I'm struggling with lots of stuff lately, I got to say. All right. Some of it has got to do with this crazy pandemic health stuff going on. Other stuff is the fact that I'm way behind on Mother's Day stuff and it's coming up way too fast. Ben, way to go. Make me look bad. Mom already got her card from you today. Nice work.
Yeah, it's a dang good card too.
Jack Wagon. And then anyway, I also have it's very clear to me now that the place I've been working at and the career I thought I was building is not that. It's just a job. And that's got me kind of bummed out. Gotta tell you, because I put almost 11 years of my life and heart and soul into this gig, and it's been very evident that I am not part of the decision-making process, really big part of the organization, and I should just stay in my lane and try to bring in money, and that's the whole point. So I'm not exactly excited about that. So then I think, what am I actually good at? Oh, I don't know. Maybe I'm not good at this, but I've been talking into microphones about sports for more than half of the last 20 years. And somehow, I think there could be a way for me to do that and get paid money to do that. So I don't know. We'll see what happens. Still my dream out there. Maybe it'll happen. Maybe not. If Larry McCarron keeps taking all the sports gigs for the Packers, then it won't happen, but that's the way it goes. All right. So, but anyway, you can help make that dream come true. Look at my sales pitch today. Smash the subscribe button, like stuff, comment stuff. We got people that their first language is not even English watching this program. Francesco, thanks for being on here, bro. We also got Zech. I think I'm saying it right. Zech. Been commenting like crazy. Double Doink. I don't know where you are, but thanks for being around. We got Bruce. We got family. We got friends. It's been awesome. Keep coming on and keep telling people about Hafeman Bros and what we do. Okay. What are you drinking tonight? Tell us. And what do you want to talk about tonight after we get through our game? You got to be part of it too. I want to hear some of your takes on that stuff. So, Ben, what do you got? Ben, you got no connection. Ekis, what are you drinking?
I am drinking Bent Paddle Canoe IPA.
Oh, very nice. Mr. Nico McFarland, what do you got?
I've got a Captain Coke in this classic 1995 UWEC mug.
Oh, that is class. I can't believe you still have that. I'm drinking Madtown Nut Brown tonight from Ale Aslium. And Ben, you threw away your drink because it was so terrible. Is that what happened? You poured it down the toilet? Oh, man. I'm telling you. Hopefully you hung with me through I had to get a little therapy session out there. And I got to pump myself up because nobody else will do it. You know who's getting me pumped up, though? Are these guys right here. I said today, I was like, hey, you want to be part of a new game we're going to do on the show? And they said, yeah, sure. Why not? So here they are. Also want you to be chiming in on the chat. So I'm going to check that in a little bit. But we got to get through our game. We got some responses here. Before we do it, we have to clear up a little bit of misinformation about the Packers. Now, in recent reports following the draft fallout or windfall or whatever it was, tornado, whatever you want to call it, in order to take some of the heat away from one Mr. Matt Lafleur, Brian Gutekunst came out and said to some reporter, I can't remember who, that it was his pick. Jordan Love was his pick. However, if I had the video evidence, I would pull it up right now to show you about their conversation about how excited Matt Lafleur was when they made the pick. And then we also look at the draft and how it unfolded and how he wanted a different type of running back, and he wanted Josiah DeGuara, which they took 3 rounds too early, and he wanted his guy, and he got so excited about it. So it's really showing you that's a bunch of BS. He's just trying to help smooth it over so it's not as big of a problem with him and Rodgers coming back together, because they got to play with Rodgers this year at least. So anyway, speaking truth to the BS, we do that on Hafeman Bros. What do you got, Ben? Ben, can you hear?
Am I there?
Can you hear anything? Like what?
Hey, did you hear what happened this week? I know one thing.
What?
Lafleur is freaking out big time because he wants to make sure Rodgers ain't super pissed at him, right? You hear what he did?
No.
Can anybody hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
I can hear you.
He hired Ruvel Martin as an offensive assistant just for this season. Aaron Rodgers' best buddy from the old days. Ruvel Martin got hired by Lafleur to make sure Rodgers is still in the fold and not so cranky. So he got Luke Getsy, who's his quarterback's coach, just because he's his pal, doesn't know anything about being a quarterback. Now he's got Ruvel Martin, who was Rodgers' old buddy back when he was a young feller not starting on the team as a coach, offensive wide receiver / offensive coach, whatever he is. So LaFleur is bringing out all the stops to try to make sure Rodgers ain't pissed. So that's good. But it doesn't fix the fact that they screwed up and did something really retarded, but drafted sorry, but I should have said that. Retarded.
That's not nice. Oh, all right.
Why?
We don't know. No one knows. It doesn't make any sense. Still doesn't. The
Well,
longer I think about it, the longer I think about it, the less sense it makes. Nicole, Ruvel Martin, are you glad he's back?
I'm ecstatic that he's back, and he's going to lead the Packers to the Super Bowl.
Do you also think Do you also think that he is now the 3rd best receiver on the roster? Is that true?
Yes.
And that Love can catch the passes.
Whatever game we're playing, Nick just won.
Thanks.
Aw. Optimist.
Love could be the 2nd first-round pick to catch a touchdown pass.
Nick can play the role of optimist tonight. I won't be, that's for sure. Eric's got a pale ale. He couldn't find his beaker mug, so he's going with a regular glass. Eric likes your choice. Ekis JZ6 is drinking Sprite. All right, very good. Double Doink's got a Blatz. Woo, it's classic right there. Classic. Zek says happy Friday. Glad the weekend is here. We are too, Zek. We are too. We're getting caught up in the chat real quick. We're doing fine, Jay-Z. We're a little grumpy. Well, we got some things to work out tonight. Sorry about that. Thanks for hanging with us. And the Kerbals got 3 Sheeps Brewing and some wine, I think, between them. So they got beer and wine going. And then Yeah, Zach, we'll get into the schedule. It's going to be wicked, dude. That's for sure. I got a thing on the schedule too here in a little bit. Got a little text exchange with Nick from yesterday. That was kind of fun. Ooh, sorry about that. Is this supposed to be private? Nothing's. I exploit my personal life all the time. If anyone gets any enjoyment out of it, I have no idea, but I try to. All right, you ready for the new game?
I pointed out Ben's great beard.
Ben's got the most salt in his beard for sure. Okay, are you ready for the new game, everybody? Are you ready?
This is the game now?
The new game. We're going to jump into it. Everybody ready for a new game? You can play along on the chat too. These are our panelists. You can see them. Jason Eckes, Nick McFarland, Ben. I will present some scenarios and some things. We want to hear it. You can put your stuff in the chat as well, what you think. You get 3 choices for an answer in this game. I'm going to give you a scenario. You give one of these 3 options for your answer. You can say, I don't know what the hell the game's called, because I was going to call it this, but it's too long of a name, so I haven't figured out a name yet. So you can answer. I will say something. You can answer with
Ben quit.
Oh, Ben doesn't want to play. He loves games. So weird. He's having connection problems in Minnesota again. We don't know what goes on with the Wi-Fi over there. Ben,
I don't get it.
Hey,
I'm just sick of this crap.
We can hear you.
I know, that's why.
Okay, well,
I can't see anybody doing anything. I can hear you guys, but I can't see you. So I figured my video is probably frozen. So instead of having my face look stupid on there, I'll just have it be blank and just talk. Maybe that'll keep me going through. I don't know.
But maybe
it's better.
It does look better, and Ben will be kind of like the voice of God for you now. That's fine. You won't see him, but you'll hear him. All right, I can get all my choices here. You can answer with, I think you're on to something. That's one choice if you're in agreement. You can answer with maybe, but I'm not sure about that. Or you can answer with, that's some crazy nonsense, Jason. One of those 3 choices. Or you can paraphrase a little bit. Again, all right, I think you're on to something, which I hope I am in some cases. In some cases, I hope I'm not. Another answer would be maybe, but I'm not so sure. And that's some crazy nonsense. All right, here we go. Ready? Now, we kind of, with a little prelude so far in the show, my first scenario statement is that second-year head coach Matt Lafleur is in charge of the Green Bay Packers. He has the most influence over the product on the field, the players, not general manager Brian Gutekunst. What say you to that, gentlemen?
Maybe.
Okay, I guess it says maybe.
Maybe, but I'm not so sure.
Okay, all right, fine. Good night. Burks says I'm on to something. Way to go, Burks. You're the smartest person here. All right, Ben.
Nope, you're an idiot.
That wasn't one of the.
Not a choice.
What? It goes rogue on the first question. What the hell? All right. Rick says maybe. Okay, so at least some people are thinking there's a chance that might be what's going on here. All right, let me make my case. I'm going to try to keep it concise. Some of these things are things I pointed out in a longer version of stuff before. The love pick, the picks in this draft. Boom, 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 boom. As we saw them, A.J. Dillon running back in the second round. DeGuara, when he had like a 5th, 6th round grade, you grab him in the 3rd round. LaFleur's big connections to Cincinnati, wanted the guy, raved about him, all this stuff. And trading up to get love, like all of it, all that stuff. And on top of it, I think here's an issue. Here's what's happening. Brian Gutekunst, right, seems to be a nice guy, but he made decisions before Lafleur got there. And now he's completely 180ing on those decisions. And the Rodgers contract and the drafting of the quarterback in the 1st round are the prime example of it. So that can't be the same person making that decision 18 months later. So that's why I think I'm on to something there. But you guys think maybe, at least consider. Ben says I'm an idiot, which wasn't one of the choices. Thanks a lot for that, Ben. Okay. Moving on. Ready? Here's the next piece I'll give you. None of the 2020 draft picks will play more than 30% of the snaps at their positions. What say you there, Jason Eckes?
I think you're onto something there.
Good answer.
I think you're onto something there.
Oh boy. Oh, Ben's. What is it? What is it, Ben? What's your response this time?
You lost your mind. Aguilar's going to play every snap. The way Lafleur's talking about him, he loves this guy. He's going to be out there 110% of the time. He's going to make up special plays just for him during timeouts. You are crazy.
And when they get him in camp, this is the same thing that's going to happen with Dylan. I'll give you this later. This is part of my worst case scenario situation. When they get him in camp and see he's not all that they thought he was going to be, I don't think it's going to happen. But okay, good. Ben's video cut out again. He's the only one disagreeing with me. That's the way we set it up. Perfect. All right, third thing. Kamal Martin, the linebacker from Minnesota, coming off a bum knee, will actually be the most impactful rookie for the Packers in this upcoming season. In the chat, what do you think? Bring him on. Eckes, go ahead.
No, I'm going with the running back.
Okay. All right. Eckes is hoping for a Aaron Jones injury so Dylan can get in. Is that what- No, I know you wouldn't do that. You know,
Eckes, you bastard.
he doesn't wish injury on anybody.
He's Ben's keeper, so I gotta.
You're just hoping they're going to run like 80% of the time and Dylan's going to get a bunch of carries along with Jones, I suppose, maybe. All right, Nick, what do you think?
I think you're onto something there. And I would say he's the most likely to play 30% of the snaps, which means he'd be the most likely to make an impact.
Okay. Sound reasoning.
Nick sounded like he actually knows what he's talking about.
It's like it's
Make it till you make it, man.
he's drinking out of an old Eau Claire mug. The guy's got style and he has a good education. You know that. Ben, what do you say to that one?
That's the first one. I think you might be onto something. Only because they have nobody else there. So somebody's got to play. I mean, someone's got to play, right?
Well, yeah. And you got to hope.
Kirksey's got an injury history for the last 2 years.
I know. He might be.
Owen Burks can't see the field even when he's completely healthy. And Summers is like the 7th round pick and played quarterback, switched to linebacker. So, yeah, the guy's going to play.
All right. I'm hoping for Kirksey to stay healthy the whole year, which is why I put not more than 30%. I fear that he might not be, and then Martin's going to probably end up eclipsing that percent by quite a bit. So anyway, I'm still crossing my fingers for Kirksey because I think if he's healthy, he could be a big impact player for them defensively. So I hope for that. Bruce says not on to something. Bruce, come on, man. Explain more. Which one is that too? I just looked at it. Oh man. Bruce is disagreeing. Bruce is a smart guy, so maybe I'm not on something. We'll see. Okay. Another one. I got to give Nick we had a little text exchange here. I'm going to mostly just give a little bit what I said. Nick said, looks like the schedule's kind of tough. I said, yes, time to tank and go for good draft picks that they can waste again next year. He said, no to that. And then I said, maybe then Lafleur and Goody will be gone only a year or two after running Rodgers out of town. Then whoever is next can rebuild the whole thing. We hope that's not the case. Anyway, I was being a little snarky there and upset, of course. But that does lead me into the Packers record or the Packers schedule coming up, okay? I say the Packers will be likely to be 2-4 after the first 6 games. If you haven't looked at the schedule, check it out. I'll give it to you real quick. Ben says he hasn't. They open with the Vikings, then the Lions at home. They're at the Vikings and the Lions at home, at the Saints, Falcons at home, at the Bucks, at the Texans, and that's their first 6.
Yeah, but there's a bye week after week 4.
Sure.
So we're playing Tampa off of a bye. That's why we're going to beat them.
Okay. So I guess you're saying
I disagree.
Okay. Says that's some crazy nonsense.
Crazy nonsense.
All right. Not 2-4 after 6. Nick?
I don't know about 2 and 4 after 6. When I looked at the schedule, I see a lot of the tougher teams that they're playing are on the road, which always makes me nervous. They got the 49ers in San Francisco, and they got Tampa Bay is in Tampa Bay.
Got the Colts in Indianapolis.
Right. So a lot of the good teams that they're playing away from home, which is always tough.
Very true.
Tampa's off a bye. We'll beat them.
I got good news for that though, Nico. Good news.
I'm ready to hear it.
It wouldn't matter if they were playing those tough teams at home or on the road. They're going to lose them anyway.
No.
So the fact that they're playing the crappy teams at home gives them an advantage to win those games. And therefore, they have a better chance of having a better record at the end of the season. Because no matter where they play the 49ers, they're going to lose. No matter where they play the Saints, they're probably going to lose. No matter where they play Tampa Bay, they're probably going to lose. Therefore, this is actually a good thing. Mr. Optimist Ben is here. Okay, I'm going to leave now.
All right. Hey, I just thought of a new question that wasn't originally on there.
Only Ben comes on the show, points out 4 straight losses, and then says he's the optimist.
It's however you spin it, right? That's how it goes. Okay, I got one for you. The Titans will rush for 200 yards in the game on December 27th against the Packers in Green Bay. Am I on to something? Maybe.
Wait, in the first half?
That's some crazy nonsense.
Not in the snow. No way. We'll have it plugged up.
With who? Please tell me who's going to plug it up.
You can put a snowman or something. They'll get them.
All right, Nick, what do you think?
Maybe, but I'm not sure.
Okay.
Like I said, weather could always be a factor in a December Lambeau game. But I think if Derrick Henry gets injured from all his carries, he's not a guarantee to be playing late in the season. But I don't know who their backup is, but it's going to be tough, no doubt.
It's going to be rough for that. Ben?
Listen, man, I can remember Darrell Thompson, who had a 70-some yard touchdown run in the snow. And if Darrell Thompson can have a 70-yard touchdown run in the snow, then Derrick Henry can certainly have 2 70-yard touchdown runs in the snow. So it's going to be definitely over 200 yards given up on the ground, unless they sure something up. As of right now, yeah, like I said, it might be by halftime that they've got 200 yards rushing, unless they fix it. Yeah, you're right. You're right on the money, like 100%. Yeah, okay. All right, I'm going to go now. Bye. See ya.
So far, I'm getting a lot of onto somethings here in the chat as well. So lots of people kind of thinking we're onto something. I'm not happy to be onto something here on some of these things, but I had to look at this not as a Packers fan. I had to look at this as a former journalist who is trying to become a journalist again and hope somebody picks me up and gives me some money to do it. Not going to have
Big J journalist, Big J journalism.
That's right. I learned from one of the best.
Does Rick remember that Darrell Thompson touchdown run?
He probably does.
Against the Raiders, by the way. I don't know if Rick remembers that. That was the same game where Yurko jumped on Hostetler's back and rode him for a while. It was a great sack he had, but it took him like 2-3 seconds to get him down because he like rode on his back and Hostetler was like running around with him for a while. It was really weird. Hostetler was a Raider.
Wasn't Darrell Thompson like a Minnesota kid though? And
yep.
Yes, he was. He's from Rochester.
Yeah. He knows how to play in the snow, man.
Great straight line speed. He was
he was a guy. His legs were skinnier than mine. You could touch him on the top of his, like just barely touch him, and he'd fall over. And somehow he ran for 79-yard touchdown in the snow against the Raiders.
All right.
Game, Yurko got the sack, the whirly bird sack, one of the greatest sacks I've ever seen.
It was awesome. It was amazing. He held on that long, and also pretty impressive. I bet Jeff Hostetler could probably squat like 500 pounds because he was holding Yurko on his back for a while. That was impressive. I can't even carry my son on my back I'll go straight down right now. So of course I don't squat that much anymore, thankfully. All right. We got to get into the record. We got some people in the chat here. I want to see what you guys think about this. Double Doink says they're going to be 8-8. Bruce says they need to go 7-1 or 8-0 at home in order to go 10-6 or 10-6 or better. And I think they really need to take care of business at home as well. Man, I don't know. I looked at the schedule. I'll put mine out there first. I think they're going to go, as I looked at it objectively, I think it's going to be 8-8. It's going to be an 8-8 year, no division, no playoffs. That makes me sad.
What? How many wins do you give the Vikings? Because their schedule ain't that easy either.
Yeah, but I think I have the Vikings beating the Packers both times. So I think they'll win. I think they'll win 9-10 games and take the division. We know the Bears ain't winning it, and we know the Lions aren't there yet. So,
man,
I'm sorry, man. I mean, maybe. Look, the only hope I see is Rodgers plays awesome. The running game works. They do some creative stuff with Aaron Jones. All this stuff could happen. Okay, sure. But I mean, the blueprint's there. Teams know they got to run on them, and they got to play a lot of good running teams. So those games, I'm worried about it. I'm worried about them having the ball enough. I'm worried about the defense being on the field too much, getting worn down, and then teams just keep ramming it down their throat. And that just sucks the life out of your football team. So I don't know. That's what worries me at this point.
When are the two Viking games? They're right early on, right?
One's the first September 13th.
1-8.
Yep.
1-8. Okay. All right. Think about this. Who scares you on the Vikings for going deep? Nobody.
That Jefferson guy they just picked up in the draft because you said he was so good.
No. And not one of that. What week do they play Tampa Bay? Week 5 after the bye, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Tom Brady's learning all new offense, right? Not only is he learning all new offense, he's got to learn all new offense after being in the same offense for 20 years, coming off of coronavirus isolation. You think he's going to be ready by week 5 and know what he's doing?
Well,
I'm telling you right now, the Packers have a chance. They're going to be 12-4 if the cards fall right and they don't do stupid stuff. And those only 4 losses are going to be the Saints, the 49ers, probably the Bears one time because they're going to figure it out this time.
Bears.
They're going to play Nick Foles instead of Mitch Trubisky.
I don't know about that.
But think about it. They're coming back with a lot of the same guys, and they don't have to worry. They're doing the same offense. Rodgers is going to hopefully study, be all mad, and go crazy. It all depends on Rodgers. If he's focused and wants to do well, they'll do good. If he wants to mess everything up and just be like, whatever, I don't care. What's that call? What do you call Goody? Oh, you call the run play? Ha! I'm going to Brett Favre you and switch it to a pass. Speaking of that, I just watched the Broncos-Packers Super Bowl the other day.
Oh.
And, oh, my God, did Brett Favre change a hell of a lot of runs to passes in that game. When Dorsey Levens was averaging 6 yards a carry and destroying the Broncos defense. Unbelievably awesome. And Favre was just like, I think I want to pass here. And then he would throw like a 2-yard pass. And I'll tell you this much. Antonio Freeman had a couple good catches in that game. For some unknown reason. I don't know why. No, seriously. Freeman's first touchdown was amazing. I forgot about that catch. That was a great catch. But anyways, they had Freeman doing kickoff returns and Robert Brooks doing punt returns in that game. 2 veteran receivers at 2 key spots in returning. And Freeman sucked at kickoff returns. And he fumbled one time on a kickoff return. And then Brooks was kind of all over the place. And they had to put Mike Pryor back there after a while because, Mike Pryor just catch and sit there. Yep. But anyways, that's old stuff. I know. We're going on to new stuff.
That's all right.
I think I froze again. All right.
That's true.
I got 10-6.
You got 10-6. Well, maybe it will be in the middle. And that would be good enough to win the division.
Nico?
Well, I think that they win the division just because those other teams all suck and always will. So I predict the Packers to win the division the next 50 years in a row. All those teams are terrible. The only thing I would disagree with Ben on them going 12-4 is maybe I say 11-5. Is that I'm pretty sure Tom Brady knows how to throw it to Gronk over the middle. I don't think the coronavirus will stop him saying, "Hey Gronk, go run 5 yards and stand there, and I'll throw it to you." And the Packers don't have anybody there that can stop a tight end over the middle.
Oh, and he probably also he knows how to throw those tall receivers as well.
You're forgetting that just for that game, they're going to bring Owen Burks in, and they're just going to say, "Owen Burks, just stick with Gronk. Just stick with Gronk, Owen Burks. We know you don't know what's going on. We know you might not be able to tackle. Just stay with Gronk." And he's going to break passes up.
Ooh.
He's going to mess things up. Just watch.
All right.
We're coming off of a bye that
you guys are going to come back, 6 months from now. You're going to be like, "You guys are crazy."
You know what? Maybe you're James Jones. Maybe you're James Jones last year who said 13-3 and they ended up getting it.
And he was right.
He was right. Even though he was totally homer in that stuff when he did it before the season started, but he ended up being right. All right. We got a couple other people on the chat chiming in. Bruce says AR is the X factor. He certainly is. The Vikings are definitely dependent on draft picks. Double Doink points that out. It's true. If their draft picks pan out, they could be good. If they don't, they could struggle quite a bit.
They got no corners otherwise, right? That's right. The draft picks are corners.
Yeah. And Rick thinks the Brady honeymoon could be fading after a couple losses. Stuff could be, tempers could be flaring. Bruce Arians isn't exactly the easiest guy to get along with. And Tom Brady certainly yells at a lot of people, although for him, that's good leadership. If Aaron Rodgers does it, it's, him being a jerk or whatever. Jason Wiegand, how you doing, buddy? Good to have you on here. He says Packs are going to go 11-5. So we'd love that. If that happens, we'd totally love it. And he says the Vikings lost some studs, and they certainly did. Let's see. Rick says 9-7. That's not a Packers fan, Raiders fan, outside looking in, says 9-7. That could be likely.
Not bad.
And that might be good enough for the division. This division is not going to be good. It's really not. Who knows? The Lions could be who knows? It's totally upside down this year. The Lions did have a pretty good draft, and at least Patricia seems to have a plan. I don't know if it's going to work, but he's moving them in some direction. We'll see.
I got a question real quick.
Butter says he's with Nick on this one. So
I've always said Butters was smart.
Oh, Butter's smart. He is smart. Hey, question. What is the NFC division that they're playing once, and what's the AFC division that they're playing once every, at least one game this next coming up season? I forgot.
It's the South.
They got the Colts and the Texans.
Yeah, it's the South.
So
that's why they
AFC
get the Saints, Falcons, Buccaneers.
Okay, so NFC South and AFC South.
Yeah, that's why the Titans. It sucks. They got to play the Titans and the Texans and the Colts, all playoff teams, and then you throw the freaking 49ers in there just for good measure. Screw you, NFL. What the?
Well, I hate to say it, but I think the schedule is subject to change as well.
Okay, let's hope.
Yeah, no kidding.
I don't know. Let's hope they have a season. I mean, the thing is, you think about the NFL, right, and the health crisis and all that stuff, and there's so much TV money there. They're going to find a way to play the games. Now, there might not be fans in the stands. There might be some staggered thing, and they got to work all that out. The team's got to work that out. But I can't imagine the NFL losing all that TV money. They don't want that.
The first 4 games might not be on the same schedule, though.
And if you look at that, then the first 4 games, that's Packers versus Vikings in Minnesota and against the Saints, which are 2 tough ones.
Can they get that 49ers one in there? I mean, can we somehow lose that one? That would be nice.
Oh.
Dang.
Play with no fans could affect games too.
That's true. No juice. No go pack, go on the road. Dang, that would suck. All right, so
it's from the crowd noise.
Nobody said 7-9. Nobody said less than 8-8. So that's at least a positive sign. And we're hopeful. I mean, some things fall right. Some things come into place. I mean, I think Alan Lazard's a great player. I think he's going to be even more important to the offense this year. You're going to see him a lot on the field. We want to see more of some of those guys that didn't get on because Geronimo was and Graham were on the field for some reason last year. So you got openings for some of these guys you've been clamoring for. And if Kumaro gets out there more, if they work, I still think Tanyan is a good player. I still think he's got a lot of really good tools as a tight end. But Sternberger, they're high on him. So let's see what these guys can do. Offensively, I think they're going to be fine. I'm just concerned about that run defense. And I think that's the thing that could flip games.
Is Snack still a free agent?
I think so. I haven't heard him landing anywhere yet. Ben?
I have no idea.
Oh, I know you said you didn't know anything about Packers this week, but other than the Rouville Martin thing, but I know you did say, I thought you keep tabs on Snacks pretty closely, but you don't know.
I got some Doritos on the shelf over there, but that's about it.
All right, fair enough. Anybody know about Snacks? Give it to me in the chat. I missed that one today. Let's see. JZ6 says no fans equals no morale, no hype. It's true. Double Doink says 16-0. Come on, man.
Woo!
Man, you and James Jones, my brother. You and James Jones right there. No Lambo leaps with anyone to spill beer on you or catch you, Eric says. I'm sorry. And Kumaro is 28 and he's hit a ceiling. Bruce.
I will stab you.
Bruce. Kumaro has not hit a ceiling. Those 28-year-old legs are fresh because he never gets to do anything with them. He only gets to run the short pass patterns, except when they throw it to him once in a while as an outlet, and then he turns it into a 30-yard play because guys can't tackle him or something like that. Or he makes that crazy catch like he made last year, that basket catch that was dropped in and he got his hands under it somehow. I mean, the guy just makes plays. He's been overlooked his whole life, and he just makes plays. So give me more of him. I'd take him over Geronimo Allison any play and every play last year. All right, Bruce is apologizing now because we badgered him into it. Thank you, Bruce, for that. I really hope that things can turn out well. Gentlemen, thank you for playing the game. Appreciate that. Now, I have one other thing to bring up, and it's the other part that concerns me a little bit because a lot of people are saying the Packers didn't draft wide receivers, and I wasn't set on them drafting wide receiver. I wanted D tackle and linebacker help. We didn't get that either, by the way, except for linebacker. We had Kamal Martin in the 5th round. Hopefully he'll be a player. But the one thing that I was thinking about is that a lot of people are talking about this Equanimeous St. Brown coming back and MVS turning it around and all that stuff, right? What are your thoughts? You guys think Valdez-Scantling, who Ben brought up something, I think it was last week or the week before, where he was like talking about making himself into training until he becomes like Jerry Rice, Julio Jones, the best wide receiver in the league. I don't know if that's going to help his hands on deep passes or help him. The thing I have an issue with him is he doesn't attack the ball. He just lets it come to him. He never goes up and attacks the ball. He's a tall guy. Go and attack the ball, dude. And he doesn't go after it with strong hands, which also is why he drops a lot of passes. And then
It's very strange.
it is. It's weird.
I think he works with Randy Moss. Like, I think Randy Moss works with him. I know he worked with him last offseason. So it's like, what's up with that? Why he doesn't, he should be going up and mossing people. He's getting trained by the guy who created it.
It's weird. It's weird. Like, attack the ball. Go get it, And St. Brown, he's got okay hands, but he was a 6th round pick for a reason. I mean, he's 6'6", he's skinny, he's not that fast, he doesn't change direction that well. And plus he's coming off an injury. I mean, I don't think either of those guys are going to be big shots in the arm for this offensive attack. So it's going to have to come, in my opinion, it's going to have to come from Lazard being a monster again, and Devontae being Devontae and staying healthy, and then working in Aaron Jones in creative ways in the passing game.
Funch, decent.
Funches, maybe. I mean, he's the wild card, right? He's the guy you don't know about. What is he going to be like? He's got athletic ability. Is he going to be a consistent catching the ball, doing what he's supposed to do? Or is he going to be more like a little bit more talented version of Geronimo? I don't know. So
I mean, he had Cam Newton thrown to him for how many years? So this is going to be a big breath of fresh air where a ball comes on time. I think that could turn into something.
Gotta do another Mad Town here, guys. Sorry. What do you guys think? Bruce says MVS does not run his routes well, which is true. He's fast, doesn't run great routes. And St. Brown is a big question mark, and totally. I mean, I don't know. I mean, so I think what I picture is this. My picture is Lazard, Devontae being key pieces, Jones being creatively used in the passing game. When you have Dillon maybe in the backfield and you put Jones in the slot, or going like a double back set, and then you bring Jones out in motion and he lines up in the slot and runs a pass pattern. And then utilizing Sternberger, Tanyan as some midfield attackers. So guys in the middle of the field attacking the defense. So I think that's going to be their best offensive approach this year. I don't think MVS or St. Brown are going to be big contributors. And that's just my take. Nick, what do you think about MVS?
Yeah, I don't think he's really relevant. I think he's but I don't think their offense is going to be any worse than it was last year. I mean, Jimmy Graham and Allison are additions by subtraction. And like I said, Bunches, who knows what do you have in him? And I think he probably is hurt more than anybody by not being able to work with Aaron Rodgers today and tomorrow and next week with the shutdown and all that. So he would probably, if we could see what they had as far as a connection, then it'd tell you something that they had going on there. But we won't know until they actually step on the field. If any of those guys are going to, what they're going to be able to do.
Plus, all indications are that they want to run it so much more that wide receivers, who is it going to be? But it's going to be less of whoever it is anyway, because they want to run it so much more with all the emphasis on the draft picks and everything for running.
I mean, Dillon should allow a lot of play action, which I know you always like.
Yeah, I mean, the play action should be there. It's just a matter of, if coverage is rolled to Devontae, then it's got to be Lazard. I would think a lot of the play action, and or Bruce brings up and Wiegand points out Lazard will go get it all day long. And I think so too. I think he's reliable. I think he's got a great head on his shoulders. I mean, you look at interviews with him in the off season, he's excited for the opportunities he's got and moving forward. And I think he's going to attack this opportunity this season as well as anyone will and be really successful. Bruce also points out, they could be splitting out Sternberger. And let's see what that kid's got. I was fine, I guess, with them using him as an H-back, but I mean, they didn't draft him to block people. So get him out in space. He's tall. He's supposed to be a great hands catcher. He already showed the ability to adjust routes properly away from the defense, like on his one touchdown in the playoff game against the 49ers. So let's see what he can do. And then use him to attack the seam. When was the last time they really had somebody attack the seam? It's been quite a while. And a tall guy in the middle attacking the seam does wonders for your passing game. So
but will Rodgers throw it down the middle? He doesn't want to throw picks. He doesn't like throwing it down the middle. He likes throwing it outside because he knows it's going to be either completed or incomplete.
Very true. Very true. However, if they get the right defensive looks, he will. If it's man and there's a single high safety there and he can draw the safety away with his eyes, then he will. But if it's a two shell, he won't. Unless they have good action pass that draws the linebackers up and you can get them between the safety and the linebackers. So we'll see how that goes.
Well, I don't remember if you remember last year, there was a great play against the Panthers that used Geronimo and Jimmy Graham, and he changed Geronimo's route so that Geronimo would do like a quick in route, and that sucked Luke Kuechly in so that Graham could sneak behind him, and it was like a 30-yard pass right down the seam, right down the middle, over the top of Kuechly's head. And Rodgers changed that play, or he changed Geronimo's route on that play to make that open that up for Jimmy Graham. So we know Rodgers knows what's going on, but can Lafleur come up with those plays and make them happen? That's the thing.
That's a really good question.
They got find a player, find a position, study the opposing defense, and then attack a specific player with make him have to have a decision on a guy coming in his zone, right? And once that guy goes in his zone, if he goes with that guy, that vacates a spot that somebody else goes into and is then open. And if he doesn't go with that guy, then Rodgers just dumps it off to that guy, the first guy who was open. Those are simple things you can do by using pass plays together to highlight, one particular defender. And Rodgers doesn't have to think that much. The problem is, will he do it? I don't know. But that's just a play that worked against the Panthers that we saw last year. So let's keep doing stuff like that. And anybody can get open. It doesn't matter. You can put me out there, and I could get open.
Oh,
just target the defense.
That's a strong take right there. That'd be
hey, I didn't say I'd catch the ball. I just said I would get open.
That's some crazy nonsense.
Hey, wait. We're not playing that game anymore.
Oh, I thought we were still playing the game.
No.
I'll tell you what. Here's a concern, and this is one thing I wanted to bring up tonight, which I have concerns about Matt Lafleur as a coach. He was severely so, and this is where I'm going to go back to my initial thing where I said I think Lafleur's in charge, and I think that's what's happening with the team. And I have big concerns about that because I think he was severely outcoached in some games last year. Like he didn't even look like he should be on the field as an opposing coach against Kyle Shanahan in that group or some of the other teams they played. And so you're putting your faith in that, and I don't think he has it. And the other part, if this draft pick is bucking Rodgers' ability to use his experience and intelligence to your advantage, just because it's not your offense the way you drew it up or what you planned for the whole week, that's an ego problem. But it's also your ego, Matt Lafleur, shouldn't be that big because you showed you're not that good of a coach when they put you against the top coaches in the league. So you need to put your ego aside, let Rodgers use his smarts and his abilities and all of the freaking snaps of experience to get you in the most advantageous situations. And so that has me a little concerned about the direction of this team. The other thing I have concerns about is Brian Gutekunst's stubbornness with his draft picks. I'm concerned, like you look at this most recent draft, but you look at last year's draft, look at the way he defended the pick of Rashawn Gary. And even after the season was over, like how he thought he was really impactful somehow in his 200 some snaps and his 2 sacks or whatever it was. Brian Gutekunst has shown he will pull a quick trigger on a guy that's a problem as long as it wasn't his guy. He got rid of Demarius Randall like that for Deshaun Kaiser, which equaled nothing, right? He's gotten rid of other guys super fast, but those were not his guys. Look how long it took him to cut Jamon Moore. He's hung on to MVS. Did they not draft receivers? This is my question to him. If I give him some truth serum, did you not draft any receivers because you drafted those receivers in the draft before and you really want to see them pan out? Or 2 years ago, that was your first draft and you really believe in your guys? You're too stubborn to say, I made a mistake? And that's what I think about Gutekunst. So you got Lafleur, who's on a power trip, Gutekunst, who's too stubborn to admit when he makes a mistake. Those two things have me concerned about the future.
You cut Jamon Moore after 1 year.
No.
Yeah.
He was on the team the whole first year and then back in camp the whole next year. And then they cut him.
Oh, yeah, that's camp. But that's
that
camp.
Dude should have been cut the first year. That guy did not perform. He was far below those other receivers.
Who else did they have?
I don't have it off the top of my head, but you could pick up anybody off the street and throw him in there, and he'd be better than Jamon Moore.
Made the team because they had nobody.
No.
That's why they had to draft those 3 receivers. They had nobody at receiver. He cut Jordy like a jerk. That's the problem. When he cut Jordy and signed Jimmy Graham. Then he had to draft 3 receivers and put guys in there who weren't ready to play. That was the problem. And I'm not breaking up because I can't see any of you guys moving at all. But what I'm saying is, that's the problem. But he did cut Jamon Moore at last year because he was like, hey, this guy stinks. And luckily for him, St. Brown got hurt. Didn't have to make that decision. He also cut Lazard like a ding dong, but at least signed him back right away. Thank God. Nobody else signed him. Praise the Lord for that.
How long did he stick with Jimmy Graham, Ben? That was his signing.
But he
that was
paid
his
him a
big
crap ton
signing.
of money. Yes.
Yeah.
But what's even more concerning, listen, Jimmy Graham was still on contract for this year, and they cut him. Because they said, okay, we tried it for 2 years. He's a veteran player. We gave him a second shot at it. He stinks. Boom, he's gone. Listen, Goody's got issues. There's no doubt. But he's not afraid to cut guys when things go wrong. Okay? Now, will he cut Billy Turner is the big question, because that guy stinks. That'll probably never happen. But he got rid of Jimmy Graham because he knew he sucked. He didn't sign back Geronimo because he stunk. He freaking got rid of Jamon Moore last year because he didn't need him, even though he had a guy hurt and he couldn't even sign Lazard, and still Jamon Moore couldn't make the team. So what does that tell you? That tells you he knows. Maybe it takes him a year to figure it out, but eventually he's not afraid to say, okay, I screwed up. I'm gonna let this guy go. He ain't Ted Thompson, who hung on to Justin Harrell for like 4 years when he was hurt every single year on a first-round pick, or Derek Sherrod, who was with the Packers for like 3 years, didn't play at all, and stunk up the joint. I mean, come on.
All right, we'll see. We'll see.
Goody at least has realized, okay, this guy sucks, he's gone. This guy stinks, he's gone.
In some cases.
The biggest problem to me is that Lafleur kept playing Geronimo and Jimmy Graham. So that was a Lafleur problem. Why is he playing these? He doesn't have to play him. Just because Goody put him on the team, you don't have to play him. He can say, this guy stink, I ain't playing him. I'm playing this guy because he's better. Now, there was a time when both Tanyan and Sternberger were hurt, so there's no choice but to play Jimmy Graham and to probably feed his ego and make him feel good. But still, Geronimo had no reason being out there. We all know that. But Kumara was hurt for a while too. That's the other thing that happened later in the middle of the year there. And Devontae was hurt. So they had to rely on Geronimo. And that's another thing LaFleur had to do too. So these are things that I'm telling you as Mr. Ben Optimist that maybe it's not as bad as you think.
All right.
Man, why did you freeze?
Because you're talking some nonsense now. Here, I got some things to point out from the chat. Double Doink says about Goody, Burks, Jackson, 2 guys that couldn't even see the field last year, are now going into their 3rd years on the team. And Cole Madison were all Goody draft picks that he just couldn't let go. And Bruce raised my eyebrows here. Those are some strong eyebrows to raise. He says that Turner, Lindsley, and Lane Taylor will all be gone after this year. I hope they're not planning on Runyon, Bunyan, and Junior and whoever else they drafted this year to fill those spots, because that ain't going to work. I do like Lucas Patrick. The guy's not the most gifted, but damn, he will give it his best effort and play hard every single play. And I think he does a solid job. He's not a tackle, but he can be guard. He can be center. He can be center or either guard, in my opinion. And he would be better than any of the. He'd be better than Turner by far. And I think he could challenge Lindsley at this point. I've never been a big Lindsley guy, but whatever.
Yeah, you hate Lindsley, man.
He misses a lot of blocks. He misses a lot of blocks.
He's got something against that guy, man.
He's not that good. I like him. I think he's a funny, nice, easygoing guy. I just don't think he's particularly good at playing center at football. That's all. Sorry.
Anybody who's willing to put another guy's hands next to his stuff, he's gotta be a little something wrong with him.
I miss
Just give him a break.
I miss Scotty Wells. Damn it, Scotty Wells was the best.
Wells was cool.
Love that guy.
Wells was cool.
And he was either a 7th round pick or a undrafted free agent again. Guy that got lucky on. I mean, how many of those guys for the Packers O-line? And you know what? O-line, I'll say this. This will be interesting to see how these late round offensive linemen pan out. Because O-line, the Packers had a lot of good offensive linemen late in the draft, late round draft picks that turned into being really good offensive linemen for years and years and years. You know what the common denominator there was? James Campen, the coach. James Campen, I think, did an awesome job with those offensive linemen. Are these offensive linemen under new coaching still going to be able to step up and get the training they needed? Because I think he took some diamonds in the rough and really brought them to their best potential. But I don't know that that's going to happen under this coaching staff. And if you don't get that, then you got to draft linemen higher in the draft, and we didn't do that either. So I don't know what's going on. What do you guys think?
Or you got to get some in free agency or trade,
And that's hard too. I get it. Billy Turner, I mean, they thought he was going to be good, but no one knew that he only blocks for 1 second and then he stops blocking. Like, who the hell knew that? I mean, maybe his tape showed it somewhere else, but that's what he does with the Packers.
Knew. The Broncos
I
knew.
guess they knew. But then as a coaching staff, how do you not make a change there throughout the whole year? That's where you make the tough calls, right? You got to make the tough decisions. All right. We're going to see what's going to happen with all that. I'm checking the chat before we go. Thanks, everybody, for hanging out. Frankie Bag of Donuts. He was solid too, Bruce. You got it, buddy. All right, everybody. Enjoy your weekend. Thanks for hanging with us for an hour. We appreciate it. Jason Eggis, Nico McFarland. Good to see you guys. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for drinking a brew and out of your EC mug, Nick. Can we see it one more time? Captain of Coke, the classic out of the, wow.
Ben, is your beer on?
Yeah, but I can still taste it too. It's so gross. It's still hanging out.
Oh, man. Best education, UW Eau Claire, everybody. There's no debating that. All right, there's debating about Packers, but you can't debate the best education in the country, UWEC. Right here. Look at this. 4 gentlemen that went there and some on the chat. Jason Wiegand, a proud alum as well, and others. Sarah, Andrew. So many others. Bruce, I don't know. Eckes, whatever. Anyway, everybody take care. Have a great weekend. We appreciate you. Take care of yourselves. Well, Eckes graduated. That's good. That took a little while.
I didn't.
We don't have to. You still got an education there, whether you graduated or not. That's on you, man.
Still time.
Have a great weekend, everybody. Take care.